This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good afternoon and welcome to the Clear Lines training session. I am your host, Kipp Cohen. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of December, 2018, and I am here for the next roughly hour to spend some time with you going over the Clear Lines that runs on the Medved Trader platform. I'm going to cover a lot of the ins and outs of the software, and then we'll definitely have some time to answer your questions as well. I do want to thank you for being here this afternoon. So just to give you a real quick history about me and how the Clear Lines got to be where they are today. I was with WiseTrade for 17 years, and I know many of you were former WiseTrade customers, and we're very pleased and happy with using the red and green lines, the indicators from WiseTrade. And obviously, WiseTrade closed their doors in the end of August. I fortunately was given a little bit of heads up on that, not a lot, but I was given a little bit of heads up on that, and decided to work with a programmer who's actually a good friend of mine and a partner with me in Clear Trading Systems. Clear Trading Systems is my company that owns the Clear Lines indicator, and my developer used to work for WiseTrade and had worked on the WiseTrade algorithm in the past and was familiar with all the software programs. He assisted me in developing the indicator. Without technically owning the WiseTrade algorithm, we created the Clear Lines as close as we legally could without crossing any lines, so to speak, and came up with what we feel is a very powerful indicator. This does run on the Medved Trader platform. It would have taken me probably 6 or 8 months in a multitude of developers to actually create a full-blown standalone application. I had some original plans to do that. At this point, I'm sticking with Medved just because of the additional expense. But and the resources and time that it was going to take. And so hold on. So for now, we're gonna continue with Medved. I was fortunate enough that they were already integrated with Ally Invest and MB Trading, and my developer worked with their team to integrate it into their platform as a technical indicator that could be turned on and turned off, basically based on a subscription. And we added some additional functionality to the indicator, as you can see by the red and green arrows, the up and down arrows, which indicate when a line commits to a crossover. So the other thing about utilizing the Medved platform is that it is a very robust platform. There are a lot of things that we can do with Medved that we could not do with the WiseTrade platform. Things like trading from the chart, things like showing a candlestick behind the chart, using other technicals with the buying and selling momentum charts. So there was a lot more functionality with Clear Lines compared to the old WiseTrade system. And so the other thing is that they are very responsive to our needs. The Medved team, they make adjustments, make updates based on our requests. And so I know there's a little more of a learning curve compared to the old WiseTrade software, as far as this being a much more robust system and having much more functionality. But in the long run, once you learn it, I'll tell you this much: the user base that's on it now loves it and finds it to be a much stronger, much better system than the old WiseTrade. So that's kind of how I've gotten to where I'm at today, and you know, I intend to continue this relationship with the Medved team. The only issues, obviously, is that I know for a few of you, if you don't have an Ally Invest account or an old MB Ally account, there is an additional $20 a month cost. I think all things considered, it's still very reasonable. And then if you don't have one of the integrated brokers, you are required to find third-party data that they have a couple of companies that are integrated, and that's again an additional fee. So, but if you have a funded Ally Invest account, there's only one fee for the indicator per month, and that's it. There's no additional cost. Anand wanted to know, does the system work on iOS? It does not specifically function on iOS, and you will find that there are not any, to my knowledge, standalone trading platforms that run on iOS unless you're using the Windows emulator. So you can function separate windows on an Apple platform, but no. This only runs on a PC, not a Mac. And that's pretty industry standard for trading platforms. So I wanted to real quick go to the Medved, couple of web pages. First of all, to get additional information on clear lines, for those of you that are not currently subscribers, you can go to equity-alerts.com. There's some additional information here, as well as information on subscriptions. The Medved website, medvedtrader.com, is where you would download that platform, and you would do that once you subscribe. You want to subscribe first to your clear lines and then log into the Medved site. I do want to let you know, if you have not done it yet, those of you that currently already have the indicator, you definitely want to go to the downloads page and then click on the beta, view beta, and I would encourage you to go ahead and download the beta release now. They've added one of the new features that I really like. This was something that, again, that we requested, which I'll share with you guys in a little bit. But anyway, that's kind of a quick overview and history of things. So when you first install the platform on your computer, once you have subscribed, okay, and the system knows who hasn't subscribed, but there's something that triggers when you subscribe. And when you first install, you're going to get the preset layout. There's a layout library that has some of their pre-made layouts and then a couple of my layouts in it. Now, if you are a non-subscriber but you have Medved, you will not see my layouts in here. You have to be a subscriber to get to these. And there's two of them: the active trader and the swing position trader. If I open up the swing position, this is actually the layout that's going to automatically open once you first install Medved onto your computer. All right. This is the layout that will install on your computer. It is, I created this specific layout specifically for the old WiseTrade community, for those that preferred simple red and green lines, and they like the 8 time frames: long-term, mid-term, daily, 130, 60-minute, 30-minute, 10 and 2. This is what we consider the traditional swing position layout. And these are all linked together. So when you either type on a chart and enter a symbol, because you can do that, which is cool, just anywhere on a chart, you can start typing and enter the symbol and click the enter key on your keyboard. It'll load it on all 8 time frames. So there, you can tell they're all tied together based on the fact that they all have this little symbol linking blue push pin that links them all together, links it with this watch list, or as we used to call it, a basket. So any stock that's in the basket or watch list, if you click on it, also, if you left click, it will automatically load up into the 8 different chart screens. Okay. And you will notice the charts all have are set to 50 intervals. Oops. Which is, again, similar to how the old WiseTrade software gave you up to 50 intervals. So I preset it for 50, but you can actually view further back. You can go much further back in history. So this is 200 months, which takes you about back to 2002. So the software allows you to go much further back in time than you could do before with the old WiseTrade system. It also allows you to scroll backwards, going back even further in time, depending on how much data there is for that specific stock. This goes back to 94 for AEO on a long-term monthly chart. The red and green line indicators are developed based on very similar data points that was used in the WiseTrade software. The one little quirky difference you'll notice is the lines aren't quite as smooth as the WiseTrade software. That has to do with some functionality in the actual charting package, but it has not been an issue with anybody. There's no there have not been any problems with that. Hold on one second. Okay. So again, a lot of functionality. You can view back further in time. The red and green lines are indicative of buying and selling momentum. When the lines cross over and an interval closes, then we get an up or down arrow. So I view that as a confirmation arrow. And we've found that to be extremely helpful, especially just when you're quick viewing the charts, so you can see where those crosses occurred or the commitment of the cross. It's also very helpful in active trading to know where the crosses are occurring, and helping you to clearly see the movements, especially when you get down to trading more actively. So there are a couple different components here. With Medved, you have 2 different charts. You have what's considered an intraday chart, and that's the minute intervals. which you can select any time frame you personally want. And then there's a historical chart, which is what we call the long midterm trend. There's also a quarterly and yearly chart for those that want to see back on those time frames as well. But we typically look at long, mid, and short, and then focus intraday. Now, for the sake of visualization for you guys, I'm going to actually go to what's called my two-chart layout. So under the file at the top left corner, there are several things you can click. If you go to Help, you can access the Medved support forum. If you want to learn more about Medved and the platform and the power of the platform, their forums and their actual help section, it goes in detail on all the functionality of the software. If you want like real detail, because again, this is very, very powerful platform. You can access their support, check for updates. If you have any issues, there's the ability to send a log file so they can figure out what's going on. But under file, you have the ability to build different layouts and literally endless number of layouts. I pretty much stick to, I have two different layouts I typically use. I start my morning with what's called my two-chart layout. And I use this because it's just easier for everybody to see, because obviously it's blown up and a lot bigger. And so the left box is an intraday minutes, and the right is a historical chart. Again, that gives me the ability to flip between the day, the week, and the month. And then of course here I can flip through the preset minute time frames, 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 30, 60, or I can select any custom time frame that I so choose. Even less than a minute, if I want to go to a half minute, I can select that. For those of you that are real super active traders, I actually was using a half minute for a while and then decided I didn't like it so much. It's a little too noisy for me. I do want to point out there is one major difference between the platform we are using and the old WiseTrade platform when it comes to the charts. So, and this is only really is on the month and the week, the long term and the midterm. The long term and midterm on the old WiseTrade software was a rolling 25-day chart on the monthly and a rolling 5-day chart on the weekly. So what that meant was every interval on a long term was a rolling 25 days. So every day there was a new day added and a new day dropped. This is actually calendar month. When WiseTrade first came out initially, it was on calendar month, calendar week, and then I think it was about 2 years in, they switched to rolling charts. So this goes more in line with what traditional technicals do, which is a calendar week, calendar month. So you will see a little subtle difference from that. It shouldn't be anything major. Charles says there doesn't seem to be a distinct separation of lines as was seen with when major moves occur. I mean, the separation's pretty clear. These lines are separated pretty clear. Now, when there's a real quick, real fast move, Oh, the angle. I mean, the angle between that. Yeah. Again, there's going to be some subtle differences. You'll notice like there's not as much smoothing. See how that's more pointy and this is more pointy. That again has to do with the fact that there's a line smoothing functionality that some chart packages have, and this does not have it in it. So when there's crossovers, they don't look as smooth, and it does sometimes cause the lines to crook a little bit. But I assure you, we are having no issues using these lines, and I think the current users that are, if you're here, you can attest to that as well. Yeah, I mean we are truly enjoying the system as it currently runs. At some point in the future, I can convince the Medved guys to give us something that would create that smoothing, but that'll be up to them. Or if we get to a point where we can develop a standalone, then we'll do that with the standalone application. So another great feature about utilizing the Medved that WiseTrade did not offer is the ability to view pre-market data. So let's back up a little bit. Before I get into, well, let me go ahead and point this out. So under single chart, under view, there's extended hours. You can set never or you can set always. And what that does is that gives you the pre and post market quotes. So that will cause the lines to look a little wonky because obviously there's illiquidity during those hours. The spreads are wider, so it does create some visualization, potentially some visual issues. Where it comes in handy is on the like on the stocks that are pretty, like the pre-market poppers and droppers, where there's a lot of activity in the pre-market. You'll find that this is extremely helpful to be able to see that data. It's something that I would call personal preference. Some people like to see it, some don't. And it can affect the initial view right at the open, depending if it's on or off. That can also affect the gaps. Carol says tailored TLRD is selling off. Oops. After hours, is it possible to show that? Yes. So there's tailored after hours, and you can see that it sold off very sharply. Very rapidly. And it's actually starting to bounce. So for those that like to trade pre-market or post-market, again, this is a huge benefit to be able to see these lines after hours. And I know we have some of our current users that are trading in the pre-market and the post-market, and they find this extremely helpful. Again, you can also turn on or turn off the candlesticks behind it as well. So let's back up just a little bit. Want to go into some of the other functionality. There is one is that this is not a single window. These are multiple windows that can be opened and closed. And ideally, if you want to close the group, you use up at the top where it says minimize all, there's a button for that, minimize all. And you can click back on the bottom icon on the on your desktop, the bottom on the, just went blank, but Anyway, you can minimize and maximize clicking the MT dashboard icon or the minimize all. There is also a dashboard, and from the dashboard, this is where a lot of the functionality of the software is done. You can view the data sources. This is what's powering the software. So let me discuss that real quick. The software is powered by the data that comes from your broker. Okay, so the platform, if you utilize or have an account with Ally Invest, you don't have to have additional data. You don't have to pay an additional platform fee. You just pay an indicator fee. If you use one of the other integrated brokers, which would be Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, or E-Trade, those brokers will power the software, but Medved does have an additional platform fee that Ally covers if you have an Ally account. If you don't have one of those brokers, if you're with Fidelity or Schwab, or in Canada, actually Questrade works, but if you don't have Questrade, you would also be required to have a third-party data source to power the software. But this shows you where the data is coming in, and so I have accounts with Ally and TD Ameritrade. I'm also getting news from Yahoo, so that shows that as a source. You can open a portfolio from here. Portfolios are basically like your watch list or your baskets. You can view your trading account data for whatever integrated trading accounts, and that's the other great thing about this software, is that you can trade on the chart with a multitude of brokers that are integrated. Again, Ally Invest, MB Ally, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, and Interactive Brokers are all integrated. Actually, if we go to the settings under accounts and add, these are all the brokers that are integrated. So you got Ally Invest, MB Trading. There's some cryptocurrency brokers, an Italian broker, Directa, E-Trade, Gain Capital Futures. There's another crypto, Interactive Brokers. If you trade futures, Optimus, Questrade out of Canada, Rhythmic, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, and Tradier. These are all integrated brokers that would provide your data and the ability to trade directly through the software. Okay. From the settings, you can adjust certain looks and appearances on the software, and there are a lot of different settings. Keyboard shortcuts, you can create different your data, the powers of software, news feeds. There are free or integrated with your broker news. There are paid news feeds, like the chart settings are all done from here. You can create custom color sets for your charts from here. Fibonacci levels, you can add additional levels. So there's a lot of functionality to the software. Can you have more than one broker, says Kim? Yes. So you can see if I click on the trading tab, I have a drop down, and you can see there's multiple brokers. TD Ameritrade, 2 accounts. I have a MB options account. I have an individual account. I have several Ally Invest for MB trading accounts. So yes, you can integrate and trade with multiple brokers. Any one of those brokers, if you have an account with, you can add to the settings, you can integrate with it and trade from the screen. Okay. Charles, oh, somebody's trying to turn on their camera. Please do not turn on your cameras. Charles says, is the fidelity of indicators similar to WiseTrade regarding volume? Is there a recommended minimum daily volume to ensure indicators are reliable? Well, we follow the same kind of rules. We typically look at 400,000 average daily volume as a minimum, and that's more just for liquidity, for accuracy of charts, for accuracy of for ability to get in and out. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. You can trade lower volume stocks. I think as we all know, the less liquid a stock is, the more challenges you face, bigger spreads and kind of other issues associated with that. So yes, we do kind of follow the same rules as far as volume is concerned. And that in general is whatever you're utilizing, 400,000 I think is a good rule of thumb, especially if you're trading more actively. Now, if you're a longer term trader, I think you can get away with a little less volume, but anybody that's trading more actively or swing trading, you need liquidity to be able to get in and get out of your position without getting raked over the coals. All right. So let's kind of continue on functionality. So you have the ability again to switch. Now this is a quick access toolbar that I have added. You can choose to show it or not show it. You can show it above the ribbon, or as I have done, I show it below the ribbon. But the quick access, you can pretty much just about anything that the software does. You can right click over it and add that to a quick access toolbar. So these are some of the buttons that I typically use throughout the day. Changing intervals, so the frequency button, the period, the number of bars, I sometimes switch. This is a number of shares traded, a buy button, a sell button, a flatten trade, a reverse trade. This is to show or hide the candlesticks behind the charts. If I want to click on my Fibonacci, view a new chart, draw a line, or erase. But this is all customizable. You can add and remove any of these to your quick access toolbar. They're all buttons that are associated with one of these tabs. The main tab, you have different types of candles, Heikin-Ashi, hollow, staircase. You want to leave it on a standard candle. If you use Heikin-Ashi, it does mess with the charts. But for somebody that wants to view, Renko or some other type of candle that is built into the software, the platform. Again, the number of periods, how far back you're viewing, the time frame. Now, this is a great feature too, the indicator. So with the Medved platform using clear lines, you have a multitude of additional technical indicators that you can add in. So mine I preset to with on the layout library, my pre-built layouts. They're going to have volume added, so you see volume overlaid on the chart. They're going to have your clear lines. Clear lines is an indicator. Okay, it will be locked if you're not subscribing. There'll be a little lock next to it. And then I also have pivot points, at least on here, on the basic. But we utilize other indicators as well. And this becomes more of a personal preference. I'm going to go into my popper dropper layout. Some of the additional indicators that we use. There's two other indicators that we have added in. One is the volume weighted average price, or VWAP. And also we utilize parabolic support and resistance on a 1 minute. Actually, I use the parabolic support and resistance on the 1 minute, and I have my VWAP on the 2 minute, although the VWAP doesn't matter what time frame you're on, it's the same. But you, depending on your personal preferences, you can add whatever indicator you want to utilize. Some people like to use moving averages. It's personal preference, how you trade. I'm not going to tell you, what you should and shouldn't use. I'll show you what we use during the day. This is pretty much the indicators that we use intraday, along with Fibonacci levels. We add those in. But the great thing again about this platform is that you can add any indicator that's on these lists. The other neat thing is that you can choose it to be either on the upper chart or on a secondary lower chart. I like everything on one chart, so I keep them all in the upper. I want as big a possible chart as possible, as I can have. Kim wants to know, so you just click over when trading from broker? Yeah. So going back to earlier question about, you just have to switch accounts from here. So what you could do, okay, Kim, just like I have two different stocks here. The top row is tied into my watch list. The bottom row is just symbols that I type in. So I could, on the top row, trade out of one account, and then on the bottom row, I could switch it to a different account and trade from that. So yeah, you can choose any window. You can, I could pick 4 different accounts from 4 different time frames and trade from those windows. So yes, you can pick and choose which account from which window you trade from. And Charles want to know, can you trade multiple stocks at the same time? Yeah, you can see right here, I have 2 stocks going. Your only limitation is by how much desktop space you have. That's just if you have multiple monitors, you can have multiple windows open, and you can set it up to view many different stocks at once. For me, I'd rather just kind of click through real quick, and so I tie the top row into to this list, and then I can just see on a quick glance any of these charts. So that should have answered your question also, Charles. If the trade trend triggers during trading day, does expert from Clearlines send subscribers a text alert? Says Anand. Okay, so Anand, let me clarify something. There's a couple different things going on. So I have an alert service called equity-alerts.com, and I have Clearlines. And so you can subscribe to one or the other or both. To get the alerts, those are done in a live webinar format. We don't text those alerts out because things happen so quick. Now, if you want to set up a trigger, like the software, the Medved has the ability to set up an alert, okay, that will send you a message. So there is there's a couple different ways to do it. You can utilize what's called a alert line right here, that actually you draw a line And if it crosses below that line, it'll send you a message. So set alert. Hold on. Edit the alert. So this is a functionality of the Medved platform. You can set, this is a cross trend line down. Okay. And you can send it. It doesn't send a text message. It will do a pop-up or play a sound for you. Actually, you can. It will do an SMS or an email. You can actually set up to do. I forgot you can do that as well. But this is based on utilizing the different alerts built into the Medved. I personally haven't really used them, but they're, let's see, alerts, alert editor. You can create, there's like all different kinds of alerts, single system, symbol alert, alert type, the price cross, above or below, price crossing up or down, moving up, down, daily high, low, 52-week high. I think you can do crossing over a price over a moving average. There's all kinds of alerts that you can create with utilizing the Medved. I don't utilize them, but you can definitely do that. But our alerts, our active alerts are done in our webinar. How do you get more than one symbol? Okay, I just showed that. Can you share your setup of 2 windows so we can copy? Pat, I'll have to get that to you separately. I can't do that through here. Christopher wants to know, is there a demo account to trade from to get used to the new platform? So unfortunately, unless you have an account with MB Trading, an old Ally MB account that had a demo with it, there is not, or actually if you have Interactive Brokers, actually Interactive Brokers has demo accounts with them. You could, I think you can set up a demo account. It would be delayed with IB, but I think you can set up a demo account with IB. I'm almost positive that Interactive Brokers, because they're integrated. I think you can set up a demo account with them. Free trial. Yeah, they have a simulation account, simulated account, and you should be able to utilize that with the Medved platform for demo trading. I need to actually set one up and test it, but I'm almost positive that will work. Let me just confirm real quick. See if Jerry's available. So, okay, so Francis, there are different ways to get more than one symbol. It depends on how you set up your layouts. So again, the software is very customizable. You just have to create a layout that has multiple, like if I go back, let me go back to, let me go to, let me do this 6 chart layout. Okay, this is one of my old layouts. This is a 6 chart layout. All right. So there we go. So you'll notice, and I'm gonna pick them all to be 3-minute time frames. Actually, let's just go 10 minutes. I'm gonna pick them all to be 10-minute time frames. I'm going to show you something. Oops. That's a, well, okay, that one I'll leave as a historical. Okay. All the others I'm going to set to 10. So see this little button right here? This is a linking. If I don't link them, if I unlink them, so what happens is whatever, so I can go W, I can go Microsoft, T, X, and Facebook. Okay. So it just depends if you link or don't link. Window linking or don't window link. So these are all independent. They're all 10-minute time frames. I can scroll through different time frames. So yes, you can have your limitations only based on however much screen space you have. Real estate. How many monitors? You can look at multiple stocks, multiple time frames. Has there been any data generated that would indicate what percent on average an arrow indicator captures regarding the subsequent move, or is the percentage captured all over the place due to the nature of the market? Charles, I mean, yeah, we know that market moves dictate. So I think if you look at, if you look at smaller time frames, you're going to get a lot of volatility and you're going to get some false or you're going to get reversals. The bigger the time frame, I mean, look, here's Facebook. Okay, that's a 10-minute time frame. You had an up. Let me blow this up so you can see it full. Here's a 10-minute on Facebook. Okay, you had a up arrow this morning, a second up arrow, and then it didn't go red till midday. Now, you could call that a false. It started to go up and then came back down. But then you got two reds behind it. Okay. I mean, pick a stock, Let's go with Hain. That was one of our poppers today. So this is probably what you were referring to. This was this morning, and this was due to the gap. So if you show the pre-market data, so now that corrects that gap. But again, here was a cross up. Most of the afternoon, it moved up. I mean, I think there's going to be subjectivity to that. You're watching tops and bottoms, but it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. TD Ameritrade also has Thinkorswim paper trading. Right, Edward, but you can't utilize that with the Medved. I've tried. I tried to get TD Ameritrade, but it's only on the Thinkorswim platform. Is there a place for ATR? Yes, there is a place for ATR, but you'll want to use it on the daily chart to get the daily ATR. So you can add the indicator. Average true range, put it up on the top. And so right now, that's the average true range on a monthly basis. If I go to a daily, that's the average true range, $1.16 on a daily basis on AEO. So yes, you can view that. Put it another way, if you traded every arrow, then in the long run, or would you be profitable? There's no data. I have not done any data to support if you traded every arrow. What? No. I mean, there's no data to support that. Because remember, there's still subjectivity here. You're not just basing an entry strictly on an arrow, just like you would never base an entry when you were trading WiseTrade on a red and green light. You have to look behind the scenes. You have to look at the charts. You have to look at some of the other factors, tops and bottoms, the market. I mean, there's subjectivity to it. But I will tell you that this system is very accurate. But it's just like anything else. There are times when you get a signal and it changes. I've had that happen to me, especially, again, the more you trade more actively, you're going to see that. Yeah, Jerry just responded. If you open up an Interactive Brokers demo account, you can trade that through Medved. Unless you have a funded account, it would be delayed, but you can utilize that for practicing. So yes, you can open up a demo with Interactive Brokers, be on delayed data, and practice. So yes, going back to the earlier question, you can watch multiple time frames, multiple charts. It goes back to what are you looking for and what are you most comfortable with. I have a certain layout that I like and I use it, and other traders have layouts that they like. Francis says, what's the cost of clear lines? I bought Wise Trade many years ago before it was a monthly charge. So good question. If you just want clear lines by themselves, just the clear lines to access the indicator, if you have an Ally Invest account, okay, then the charge is $59 a month, and that's it. If you have a funded Ally Invest account or Ally MB Trading, okay. If you do not, then there's an additional $19.99 a month after 30 days that you pay to Medved. Okay, that's their platform fee. Ally, if you have a funded account, waives that fee. But you would need to be utilizing one of the integrated brokers. That would be Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, or E-Trade. Okay, if you don't have an account with one of those brokers, then you also need data, and that would come from one of their data providers, and that's an additional about $25 a month. So Francis, you said you have an Ally account, so then it's $59 a month. If you strictly want to subscribe to the Clear Lines month to month, it's $59, and you can sign up on the Equity Alerts website. If you additionally want the combination of our alerts and the clear lines, that's $9 a month, and that's our daily broadcast. And I think you will find that would be quite valuable for you. Charles says, it seems to me an enhancement might be larger arrows for stronger indicators, volume, etc. I mean, that's possible. I'd have to look into that. But right now, the way that it functions is if we get a crossover, the lines cross. Once the interval closes, then we get an up arrow. So a cross has to occur, then the interval closes, then we get an arrow. But that's, again, I'm open to suggestions if it's something that we can build into it. Absolutely. But the system works well. If you've been to our website, if you haven't done it yet, I also encourage you to sign up for a 3-day trial. You can do that. Now that's a trial of strictly the alerts. I cannot do a trial for the platform because of the time involved to get it set up. And by the way, let me tell you one other thing before anyone leaves. If you sign up for Clear Lines for the indicator, you'll get sent an email with instructions on how to get set up. If you need assistance setting things up, if you have any questions or need some help, I will gladly assist you. If you'd like, I will call you and remote connect to your computer, give you an hour of my time to go through it one-on-one. And that's something I do for my subscribers. So that is available. I'm still doing that. If you sign up for Clear Lines, you can email me directly if you need help, kip@equity-alerts.com. I will set up a time. I usually do those in the afternoon after about 1 o'clock Central, and connect to your computer using TeamViewer, and we'll assist you with the installation and help getting set up and kind of step you through some of the buttons, and I'll add some of my personal touches to the platform for you. But so because of what's all entailed in that, and the intricacies of utilizing Medved and the different brokers, I don't, and it's only $59 for a month. So, spend your $59, and if you don't like it after a month, then you've spent $59, and I'll give you an hour of my time. If you don't like it after a month, you're welcome to cancel. I've had only a couple people cancel my platform, and that's just, I think, because it was a little more for them than they expected. If you're technically challenged, there's a learning curve, because it is very different from the old WiseTrade platform. I'll let you know. It's much more robust. It does a lot more. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but I assure you that if you get it and you utilize it, and you once you get it, it's phenomenal. I mean, our customers that got it love it. So if you sign up for a 3-day trial of the equity alerts, you can at least see us using it intraday and get a feel for how the platform functions. So one more thing I wanted to show you guys that we really hadn't had a time to go through yet, and that's the ability to trade after hours. Okay, I mean to trade on the software, trade on the charts. This is I want to find something that's moving right now. Apple or Facebook. This is something you could not do on WiseTrade. Okay, you could not trade directly on the charts. So there, you can right-click your on the chart, and there's a buy or buy ask, sell bid or sell. I have hot buttons. You can also click on trading, and you can click buy and sell. So, and you can adjust the number of shares. Let's say I wanted to buy on a limit 100 shares of Apple right now. So click buy. So you see this little capsule. I can move the capsule up and down and pick where I want it to lay in. So let's say I want to put a limit down here at 169.05. Okay. So I click it once to set my price, or if I can move it, or I can double click on the price and I can up and down. And then once I'm ready to commit that order, I can send it. So now I have a limit to buy at 169.10 on Apple, trading on the chart. I can move that order. If I want to move it down real quick, I can move it and modify it. Now it's 169.02. If I want to move it lower, I can push it down 168.78. Okay. I can move those orders up and down quickly. If I want to get filled, I can move it right up to the ask, which is 45. If I set it at the ask and click modify, it'll fill me. Okay, I'm not going to do it, but if I wanted to, I could. All right, if I hit the X, that'll discard that modification. If I hit it, it's going to cancel that order. So I can buy and sell from the screen. I can set stops. I can adjust my stops. I can do bracket orders from here as well. So once I'm in a trade, I can set a stop and a limit and bracket it on the chart. I can flatten the trade by hitting this button. It'll cancel any open orders and exit the trade. It's a huge, makes it so much easier. The best part is, here's what I love the most, okay, is when I'm in a trade and I got my stop set, I can start moving my stop real quick and modifying the order very quickly by just moving that capsule up and down. So here, if I want to set a sell order, I can set it up here. So I can quickly move my, if this was a stop, I could quickly move it up and down and modify it. I mean, it's like snap, snap. It makes trading, like chart trading is like a dream, because you can do things so much quicker. And in this market, the way things move, you definitely want to be able to do that. So that to me is a huge benefit that WiseTrade did not have. Before, you'd have to click over to the trading screen and then you're not watching the chart, or you had to be on two different screens. I mean, this is just amazing. Anand says, I have a IB funded account, but I trade from IB mobile platform. I need Medved for my needs. I need full support for my setup. I will sign up by Friday. Thank you, Anand. Francis says that's a great feature. Christopher says that's how you place an order. Yeah, that's how you place an order. You click trading, and you can click buy or sell from here, or you can right click and do buy or sell. Yep. Now, you don't have to do it that way. You can do a new trade ticket. You can open this window and trade from. There's a lot of different ways to trade from this software. You can do. Trading from the screen is the best way. Wow, there's no typing. That's a lot nicer. Yeah, you can. So I've got you can either set it here. I have it on the quick access toolbar to modify the number of shares. So I can do that, limit, buy, and then, move my limit up here. Or actually, I'd probably want my limit down here. Yeah. It's phenomenal. There's no typing. It's just move. Oh, session closed. There you go. Finally, a way to beat bad market makers, says Charles. Yes. Can you show a bracket? Yeah, let me let's see if it'll let me do that. Buy. So this would be a bracket buy, just like that. Click, and then commit the order. I'm not going to send it, but yeah. Now, it depends if your broker supports brackets. TD Ameritrade supports brackets. Ally MB supports it, but Ally Invest does not. I know IB supports brackets. It depends on which broker you have. All right, we've kind of gone over. Are there any other specific questions? I know we kind of covered a lot today. The setup for buy, sell, bracket setup via settings using desktop. So to adjust the order types, Pat, you put your mouse over the order types up here, and then you can, if you right click, you'll see what order types your broker has available. So you need to be logged in, obviously, to your trading account, right? So like Ally Invest MBT is going to have different order types than just an Ally account. See how that just changed? I don't have a bracket order for this account. That's an Ally account. That's just a straight Ally account. Whoops. This TD Ameritrade will have different order account types, and then Ally Invest for MB Trading has, again, different order types. It depends on which broker. So it's customizable depending on the broker that you have. it'll let you choose the different order types. But that's all done from here. But you have to be logged into your accounts, and you do that from the settings. You have to, you tie in your accounts right here under settings. Paul says, I'm an old Wise Trader and have been with Kipp since Wise Trade and his new company. After a few weeks, this program is great. Give it a try and you'll love it. That's from Paul. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Paul is one of our, he's uses both the alerts and the indicator. I'm looking forward to signing up. Loved Wise Trade, but this seems to have much more. Yeah, Francis, as Brent in the chat in our webinar said, he's like, spend some extra time playing with it because it's extremely powerful. There are some things I haven't even figured out yet. There's so many like aspects to this program that are so amazing. And I feel very fortunate that I was introduced to the guys at Medved and have been able to work with them to create our platform, our clear lines on their platform. Kim says, old Wise Trader user, took me only a week to get used to it and have been making money. Great software. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Another great testimonial. Yeah, it's a great, and Kim also is in our chat room. So I think the ones that have experienced the quickest acceleration of their education are the ones that are in our webinar. So they're doing the combination of alerts and the clear lines for $129 a month. I mean, you can definitely just do the clear lines alone, but I think you'll see an acceleration by using both together. But yeah, thank you again. I appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys. And why did that change? There we go. Anyway, any other questions? Any other questions? You can follow Kipp's stocks and make a lot of money, says Paul. No time to hold them, says Charles. No time to hold them. Oh, Texas. No, I'm not playing tonight, Charles. Show one more time how to add price, bracket, etc. How to add price, bracket. So you click on bracket, then you click the order type by. Okay, and that's going to put that little, pop that on your screen. And then you click once and then second time, and that sets your bracket order. Pat, if you'd like, I can do that during the broadcast tomorrow. I'll show you live in the market. Okay. Hey, Francis, thank you. I'm glad you joined in. Thanks for coming today. And I look forward to seeing you and helping you out. All right, guys, that's it for me. It's been a long day. So again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And if you have additional questions, you can email me at kip@equity-alerts.com. And if you want to sign up, you can do that at equity-alerts.com. All right. Thanks again and have a great evening. And I will see, I will be posting this. Yes, I'll be posting this to YouTube. Yep. Thank you.